All right. All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Pokemon TCG All Battles. My name is Knight. We are going to just put you on such an adventure of this classic Game Boy Color game. I'm really excited for it, and hopefully everyone will be able to enjoy this wonderful, wonderful game. But I'm not alone. Of course, I have with me my commentator, Raagentreg. Say hi to the lovely, lovely people watching.
Hi stream, hi chat. I'm Rog. I'm about one of the most boomer people of this game in terms of speedrunning. There's like 3 generations of speedrunners for TCG. I'm the 2nd generation and Toro's the 3rd, if we can say that much. And Toro, to Toro's credit, really, really good at the game. And I'm glad you're here to demonstrate that for everyone today.
Yeah, I'm really, really excited for it. And one thing that I definitely will, first of all, the run has not started, but I do want to at least name our protagonist, which perfectly spaced out RRLAT9. I think that's a pretty darn good name for this, for a character for this event. And we are basically all ready to go. So we are, I'm going to count us down, and we are starting in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. So, Pokemon TCG, for anyone who has not played it yet, first of all, it is a classic. Also, it is a fantastic, fantastic game, 1998 on the Game Boy Color. Basically, the first generation of Pokemon trading card. Basically, it's the first 3 booster pack, the first 3 sets, I should say. And it is basically the first like 200 and something odd cards. I don't know if Rock has the exact number. I don't remember off the top of my head.
I could look it up, but it's not that much. But the first 3 sets are base, jungle, and fossil.
Yes. And one thing for sure that I definitely am. One thing that I'm very, very still excited about is being able to show off the All Battles category, because it allows us to explore the game in a number of different ways that most categories in this game are not, don't typically go. So one thing that we're going to first show off, first of all battles basically means we're going to be facing every single unique deck in the entire game. And not every opponent, every unique deck. There is a difference. There's a couple of reasons why the rules are basically made that way. Typically, it is supposed to be done in the context of under the rule set of any percent glitchless. So, I think the very important thing to do is to, in this very long glitchless category run, is to do a glitch. We're going to be showing it, and this is really only just to kind of show it off because it's really, really cool. We love showing it off at marathon runs. We're going to be showing off Dual Escape. So, Rog, if you can explain really quickly Dual Escape while I actually execute it.
So, Dual Escape was, I want to say, the first real glitch this game ever got, and turns out it is possibly the most broken one of all. Apart from, you know, whatever the arbitrary, Ace. Apart from Ace, this is the most broken glitch you could possibly ask, and essentially, you set the game in a state where it's totally confused. It tries to access a place where you can't access, gets confused, explodes, and then you complete the duel just like that. And the thing is, because there's no duels that have happened so far, it references the previous duel that happened, which was nothing, so it just gives us the win. And long story short, what Toro did was essentially go to his bench, try to access an impossible bench slot, which confused the game. That's the longest story short of how that works, but confuse the game, get a free win. We have a category all set to that one specifically, because that's it's so broken that these games. What's the record for any percent with glitch?
I think it's like, I want to say 13 minutes.
It's something absurd. Yeah.
Yeah, it is incredible just how absurd that is. Okay, so we're gonna be showing off this little glitch, and hopefully it'll give us not a glitch, but it's RNG manipulation. And the hope here is that I forgot to set the text speed. That's fine. We're losing a couple of seconds just on that. That's fine. The important thing is hopefully we're able to get. Ideally, we want to get one of two cards, either computer search or my God, I forgot how long this first mail pack is. Okay.
It's so painful when you haven't fixed the text.
So we're gonna try to see if we can get either a duck trio or a computer search, and let's see if it is not.
Yeah,
okay, so first of all, I'm gonna try it again, but I'm going to.
I'll give you some quiet time to do it.
First I'm gonna configure this.
Yep.
And basically, so the way it works is that this game is globally dictated on it is dictated on a global frame rule that decides everything from booster pack to different forms of RNG to opponents opening hands and how they react. So including in the free booster pack that we got to start, and hopefully. You see how much faster it is when we skip? Yeah, beautiful.
Okay, that's what we want.
Yeah, that is perfectly what we want. So now, we are going to modify our deck. We're basically going to trick this one guy to giving us free energy cards. Energy cards are basically our resource, or the requirements we pay to try and be able to pull off an attack at all. So that is going to be what we are going to do. I already kind of... As this.
Well, while you do your deck edit, I'll help you out there. So, energy cards are the resource of this game. It's the sort of base resource of the game. You think mana in Hearthstone. You think lands in Magic the Gathering. You think runes in whatever that League of Legends card game is. That's Riftbound. That sort of basic resource. So normally the game doesn't give you quite that much energy to begin with. But by repeatedly stacking decks full of energy, literally only energy in one Pokemon, talking to that guy on the right, he'll say, "Oh, you've run out of energy. Here, have some more." And then he could do that up to 4 times. We only choose to do it once or twice, depending on how greedy we're feeling.
I'm always greedy with this. I always go for it twice.
Yeah, you always go twice? Yeah. No, twice is reasonable. Some people only go for 1. Yeah. But, no, it just helps this. And you can do this casually. It's a great trick to do casually if you're playing this game. I would recommend doing it because otherwise the decks are just... It's just a lot more clunky. Doing it twice will give you enough energy for the entire game, and it doesn't take that long to do. So here, you're starting on just Hitmonchan, or...?
Yeah, we are going to be starting on Hitmonchan. And we're now actually going to get into the actual meat and potatoes of the game, dueling. And if this goes well, no, unfortunate. Of course, it's a Doduo. First duel, and it's a Doduo. We're going to be seeing a lot of like resets, especially in the early game, to try and get a favorable matchup. Doduo is hardly what you would consider a favorable matchup. In fact, that is we consider that an auto reset, believe it or not.
Yep. That's the sort of thing we want to see. Yeah. So one thing that's very different from other card games, in Pokemon you have types, and types have weaknesses and resistances. Example here was Hitmonchan is fighting type and is resisted by Doduo, the normal type. We just call it normal because that's just the types. We don't have a flying type. But Doduo has a resistance to the fighting type. So normally Hitmonchan does 20 and 40 damage respectively. But Doduo reduces that by a flat 30. So you would need to wait 3 turns to get enough energy onto Hitmonchan to even do 10 damage. And then you take another 5 turns to knock out the Doduo. It's just so slow that we reset there. And now we're just going to see Hitmonchan sweep everywhere. The reason you might see a lot of flashing here is because the game is trying to find an opening hand with Hitmonchan in it. Considering there is only one Hitmonchan in the deck, it's shuffling away, like the famous song, until you get the Hitmonchan in the opening hand, and then you pray that you have something playable. Unfortunately here, we've encountered our first special condition called paralysis. We hate paralysis. Notably, the grass and electric gyms have these the most, because grass means stun spores or equivalent if you know the mainline games, and electric is thunder, shocks, and equivalent. Paralysis basically means we can't attack the following turn. Nice and simple, but painful. There's a few ways we can get around this, but in the earliest of early game, the only out we have to this is praying they hit tails, because it is a 50-50 chance, or them you getting a full heal to, well, heal off the paralysis for the turn. So yeah. Right now, we're starting with Heather, who is famously the normal type trainer of this grass type gym. Called a Kaleidoscope deck because she has all the evolutions, and then Venomoth and Ditto for some reason, and Porygon. It's a very confusing deck, but I guess Taste the Rainbow or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of the trainers in this game have very, very unique decks depending on where you go. The Grass Club is one of the weirdest ones, because you've got this one here, the Kaleidoscope Rainbow deck. Then there's another one which is possibly the most annoying one possible, which is what's her name? It's not Is it Brittany?
Yeah, Brittany. Yeah.
Yeah.
The Island of Misfit Toys deck, I like to call.
Yeah. Just the most out-of-pocket deck with Psychic Pokemon, with Grass Pokemon. There's
Fire
more in there,
Pokemon.
and I'm forgetting. Fire Pokemon. It was just a total mess. And then the one normal girl in the corner, who has an actual grass deck. We'll be coming back to them later. And now, welcome to the first early game boss of the game. Michael. We hate Michael. Michael is one of the most difficult fights in the early game, given our resources, but he has what we need, and this is the best time to fight him. The thing about Michael is he has the basis of what was the Haymaker deck of the original TCG. Haymaker is a very famous deck. It was one of the most prolific decks at the beginning of the game, in the actual trading card game. Sorry. Because it had a combination of Hitmonchan, Scyther, and Electabuzz. Michael has two of those. He swapped, son of a... Why? He swapped out Scyther for Magmar.
Yeah, so he's got a lot of things that can do like a ton of damage. Electabuzz, Hitmonchan, Hitmonlee, which this will be interesting to kind of see. So Hitmonlee is gonna come out next. I reckon. Yeah. Total misplay by Michael. Yeah, he should have been trying to set up that one, but that is completely fine with us. Michael is really, really annoying. Michael is one of the most problematic fights in the game, and thankfully, we were able to actually go through it first try, which you don't actually get to say a whole lot in speedrun. Michael is genuinely an extremely he's usually the first run killer if you decide to fight Michael in the early game.
Yeah, the two early game run killers are Michael and I believe it's Sarah in the Water Club, right?
Amanda,
sorry, I get those two confused.
You're good.
But
one thing
both of those are the most annoying fights, yeah.
Yeah, this is also an extremely annoying fight because she's got...
Oh, we hate Jennifer.
Jennifer has Pikachu, and you would think, like, okay, Pikachu's weak to flight. That's why.
Yeah.
Oh, but I... Okay, I'm gonna commit, like, arguably a cardinal sin in Pokemon TCG, and that is to actually...
What are you doing? Absolute madman.
You're gonna paralyze me? Yeah, okay, you know what? I tried.
Yeah, you tried. It was worth giving it a go. Yeah, no, Jennifer, yeah, like you say, Jennifer's that Pikachu girl, so she has Pikachu in the deck. She also has Surfing Pikachu, and most annoyingly, Flying Pikachu. While regular Pikachus are weak to fighting, and because the reason for this is because fighting, rock, and ground are all amalgamated into the fighting type, all of them are weak to fighting, except for Flying Pikachu because it's flying, so it resists fighting, obviously. I mean, what? I mean, you know. So we hate Jennifer for that reason. Thankfully, second try with only one prize is lovely. We are aiming to take as few prizes as possible in any given fight, because the two realistic win conditions are either knocking out all of their Pokemon, or taking 4 to 6 prizes depending on depending on how many are dealt at the beginning. Second.
Let's see. Okay. This is fine. Okay. There's going to be a bit of a long win, but basically, unless this guy brings out Zapdos, we should be relatively fine. So that actually gives me time to explain one thing you may be noticing in the lower left-hand corner. And that is that we're debuting something very, very special in Pokemon TCG speedrunning. This little tracker that you're seeing is basically going to be keeping track of every single opponent in the game. So everyone that you see, that is everyone who we will be fighting. And when they are flashing, then you will know that opponent is beaten. I designed this after basically kind of reverse programming the Emo Tracker, which is, for those of you who don't know, Emo Tracker is it is a program that people use to try and... Hold on. There we go. That's the right opponent. Ooh, Scyther, that is actually gonna... 2 Scyther, that's really rare. That's incredibly rare. That's gonna be big for an upcoming section not too far from now. Emo Tracker is used for people who run Zelda randomizers, like Majora's Mask, Ocarina of Time, Link to the Past, and everything. And so I basically went into the game's internal files to then look at switch items with the opponent icon, and it just so happens that it actually it was formatted like the bottom half of the Majora's Mask randomizer tracker fits in perfectly, and I mean perfectly, with an All Battles run. It's kind of absurd. That is 4 opponents. We do not want to see that. The only reason why you're seeing Jean, who is actually technically the first real boss of the run, lit up, is because that Jean slot is actually reserved for the Song of Time in Majora's Mask, and I do not have a way to turn that off, because when you're starting a randomizer of that game, you will always actually this actually wins me the fight, because he's gonna evolve, but can't actually... Yeah, that was a big misplay by...
That's all good.
By Chris.
That's all good, so good.
And that is completely fine.
Yep.
So now you're kind of seeing little by little all the different opponents being sort of lit up. Now we are about to encounter... Oh my god, we're about to encounter... We teased this earlier, but now you're actually going to get to see it. Amanda. Her A's... Water Club trainer, by the way, is Scyther. Don't ask me why that's the case. It's just it's just the case. We've got some pretty solid trainers, so I'm actually pretty happy.
I saw you also got an Electabuzz as well, which we'll definitely use later. That's very, very nice.
Oh yeah, for sure. That's now 2 Electabuzzes we'll now have. Okay, so my hope is that I don't encounter Scyther, and of course we get a Scyther.
So the big problem with Scyther is it resists fighting, which is our Hitmonchan. Otherwise, everything else gets knocked out really, really easy for Amanda. That's the... Oh, my days. Yeah. So this is a big reset point as well, because her combination of water Pokemon, random She has the Jigglypuffs, right?
Yes.
Yeah. It's like Poliwag, Jigglypuff, Almanite, and Scyther. Water Club trainer, by the way. Yeah. Oh, that's a 4 of? Pain. So Sarah and Michael, Amanda and Michael are the early game roadblocks, basically. If you play this, you'll reset a lot of runs to these 2, because they will eat up time and resets. And how do you not have... Oh, God's sake.
This is, yeah,
it's one of those days.
Unfortunately, Amanda is being extremely uncooperative. My deck is also being extremely uncooperative, too. I'm actually getting some really bad hand. Ooh.
That's doable.
This is workable. Doable. This is workable. Okay.
You just need anything else. Yeah.
Yeah.
When we say it's workable, what makes it workable is the 2+ powers at the bottom.
Yeah, that is not going to be easy, but
It's doable. Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to not knock out from the get-go because I want to. Okay.
Wait, something evolved.
Okay, you know what? This works. We win. We just won next turn. Even if she brings out the. She's not even gonna bring out the Wigglytuff. Okay.
Oh, thank goodness for that.
Either way, I have a full heal. I have Guts of Wind. That was not gonna be a problem, but yeah,
we take those.
We take those.
That's possibly the messiest, one of the messier Amandas I've seen in a while. But we take those. We just take those. Getting past Amanda is good enough. And now you're on to Jean, right? The first club leader.
Oh, actually, no.
No?
Glitch, that's glitchily right. No, we're gonna, in a little bit we are, but first, we have to, because this is all battles, we now have to fight opponents that we are typically not accustomed to seeing throughout the run. And this is now where the entire run kind of diverges in as far as like any percent glitch list. This is now we're now entering very different territory. So I'm gonna set up my deck. So, okay.
Yeah, you just do your deck edit. So the big difference here is normally at this point in a normal run you would look to go and complete possibly the electric gym, maybe finish off the water gym. There's plenty of clubs. There's plenty of things you can do. But because we've got 2 Scythers and we have a lot of rock trainers, which we normally wouldn't have to fight, this is the time where we whip out the Scyther and start doing Scyther things, because this Pokemon was one of the most busted in the original set for a reason. The main reason is it has 2 attacks, Swords Dance and Slash. Swords Dance doubles the power of your next attack. So next turn, you'll do double damage. And Slash for 3 energy does 30. So normally you do 60 damage to a lot of things with Swords Dance into Slash, which is what we tend to want to do. Instead we do 120 to this Onix, because Onix is weak to Grass, obviously. The other curious thing about specifically Swords Dance, it makes the AI work differently. Now, normally, the AI is fairly preventative around, it only sees the base damage of what your moves are going to do, not the doubled. So, for example, there, it put a Defender up, which reduces damage by 20, hoping that it would save the Geodude. But the Geodude is taking 120 damage, not 60. So, yeah. This also avoids them using unnecessary items to waste time, such as potions. So if we say did 60 damage to an Onix, leaving it with 60 damage on it, but not knocking it out, the opponent might heal it up with a potion, which just takes extra frames, extra time. This adds up over the course of a run. The other thing it can do, in situations like these, where 60 isn't enough to knock out a Rhyhorn normally, Rhyhorn has an attack that it denies you from attacking, right?
Yes. Yeah. Basically, we call this the Leer lock because, for whatever reason, it just loves doing a ton. The RNG just loves locking us in Leer for like multiple turns in a row. It's very, very streaky for whatever reason. You either get like 4 Leer locks in a row, or you just go like 3 straight turns and not get well, it's not technically paralysis, but essentially you get paralyzed. Andrew's one of the more annoying fights in the Rock Club just because of that, but thankfully that was a relatively good.
That didn't seem too bad, all things considered.
Yeah.
Ooh, and more Electabuzz.
Another Electabuzz. That is number 3.
Lovely.
Really?
Lovely.
Yeah, that's really rare to get 3 Electabuzzes. I hardly ever encounter that. Ooh, this is actually the perfect hand for me, because this now allows me to attack on turn 2 and try to get a 2-turn win, and that's not possible. Well, it's a 3-prize fight, so it's not like it matters. Omanite is not going to do anything to me.
Is that weak to Grass? I can't remember.
It's
been so long. Yep. Okay, so you're fine here. And the thing is, with this double colorless energy, oh good lord, double colorless energy is a card that would see play today in modern TCG, and I'm not even kidding. This card, Double Color Senji, is just busted in terms. It gives you 2 energy instead of 1, which in a game of resources is really, really good. We're only allowed 1 per turn, but suddenly you get 2. Case in point, the rotation before this one of Standard had a nerfed version of this Colorless Senji, and it was still played all over the place because it was so good. This is why we want to see as many of them as possible during specifically the Scyther segment, and I don't know if you use others that like double colorless in the run. Trying to think who else would use.
No, I don't think so. I'm trying to. No, I think this would be the
You don't
only
use
time.
Rapidash, right?
Actually, no, you're right. I do use Rapidash.
Oh, you do use Rapidash. So Ponyta benefits off it, and Rapidash. Well, Ponyta is the winner rather than Rapidash. There. Because Ponyta has 2 attacks. For 2 colorless, it can do 20 damage, and for 2 fire, it does 30. But getting that 2 colorless for 20 against a lot of 40 health grass basics means you get knockouts when you really shouldn't deserve them, which is great.
I love doing things that I don't deserve to get it.
Yeah.
Oh, this is actually a perfect. Okay, you know how they said like Leerlock is really annoying. You can't really do anything. Well, we actually just escaped the Leerlock. This was back when in 1998 when this was still technically a legal move. If you get hit with something like Leer, if you are able to retreat, and then whatever Pokemon you retreat, you're also able to retreat again. You automatically. You automatically escape whatever condition you got put on. This applies to not just Leer, but to essentially any kind of special condition you get put on. I believe later on in the real life TCG, they made that an illegal move, but back in 1998,
not quite.
It's still totally a valid strat to do.
Yeah. So the rule in question is very much if there's an active effect on your the status conditions and effects like Leer or Tail Wag only apply to Pokemon when they're in the active spot, when they're up front. If you manage to retreat them back out and then back in again, then the active effect is the negative effect is gone. The difference between the 98 and nowadays is in 98 you could retreat freely as many times as you want during your turn. That is not legal anymore because that's not legal anymore because it was very busted. So you can only retreat once nowadays, which is fun. It's still like a strategy because there are some Pokemon or Switch cards that just switch you freely. Like the card called Switch, which just says swap your active with one of your benched. So you could go switch into retreat, and that would be perfectly legal today. And people sometimes do that.
Yeah.
And that is a strategy used at the moment, because there's a Lopunny deck that benefits from Lopunny. Basically, Lopunny wants to move from the bench to the active spot on your turn to do more damage. So very often the strategy is to have something that can push another Pokemon into the active and then retreat that Pokemon to make Lopunny effectively enter the active spot again and get the bonus damage. So yeah, that's so that's one of the main rule changes here. There's another rule change to do with confusion. Hopefully we don't see it, but having said that, we will. Because there's one notable Pokemon that deals confusion, and that's Lapras, and we hate seeing it.
And the next 2 fights are going to be very Lapras heavy, potentially.
Yeah, potentially. Lapras can confuse us. If he does confuse us, how confusion works nowadays is if you attack, you have to flip a coin. If heads, you attack normally. If you tails, you deal 30 damage to yourself, and you can apply weakness to yourself on Pokemon like Mewtwo, because Mewtwo is weak to Psychic, obviously, as a Psychic Pokemon. So Mewtwo does 60 damage to itself, but normally you only do 30. However, back in 1998, Confusion was even more debilitating because you could not simply retreat out of it. You had to coin flip to retreat, which is a pain in the backside, and you were only allowed 1 attempt per turn. We can use this to our advantage, in theory, because if we attack, we can know if it's a heads or tails, and then reset the game. If it's tails, attempt to retreat, obviously fail because it's still a tails, and then try to attack again. That sometimes comes up, not always, and thankfully not right now. I'll just explain quickly what I mean by that. There's two states of RNG in this game. If you are in the overworld or the title screen, if any of that is visible, RNG is advancing constantly at 60 frames per second, I believe. And if you are in a menu which covers the overworld, or you're in a battle, the RNG is frozen in time. We can use this to our advantage, because when we continue from a duel, so like we reset the game, we continue from duel, it will have the same determined RNG as before. So if we get a tails, reset the game, the next coin flip will be a tails for us. So yeah, we can use that to do a lot of very, very silly strategies, which all cost time, but sometimes they save time by avoiding layer locks, paralysis, and various other debilitating coin flip effects. Now we actually have to fight someone we don't normally fight in the runs. Normally, we find ourselves with Magnemites and just explode in Ronald's face and just lose the battle as quickly as possible. Here we actually have to beat Ronald, which is a totally different matter, because Ronald is, well, he's really annoying from what I remember.
Extremely annoying.
His deck is very haphazard and annoyingly so. I remember Cubone's in the deck. Is Cubone's in both versions of his deck?
Okay. No, Cubone is not in the second version of this deck.
But the first version it is.
Yeah. So this version is the one that has Cubone in it. But thankfully, we've already got into our win condition, and we basically just won. The only thing that's gonna stop us now is if we get paralyzed by Squirtle. We're not gonna. Yeah, no, this duel is over. Which is really, really good because Ronald is our main rival. He basically exudes. It's a Gen 1 game, so clearly he's gonna try to emulate Gary, Blue, whatever you want to refer to him as, and just exudes like smell you later energy. And
very smug.
And he names his decks after himself, and when you actually are, if you're like a really good, like if you actually know what you are doing in terms of like building decks in real life TCG, if you ever actually want to take a look at Ronald's decks, all four of them, you're gonna actually come out with the opinion, wow, this guy really does not know how to build a deck at all. Which you would think like, okay, that just means he's easy. No, it just means that it's gonna make it that much more difficult to knock his opponent out. He won't be able to do much, but we also can't do a whole lot ourselves in terms of getting a fast win.
Yeah, so for example, the first Ronald deck is 3 colors when most Pokemon decks, even to this day, are single or at worst dual type decks. Half of his deck is energy, and I'm not even kidding on that one. That is, of the 60 cards in the deck, there are 27 of them are energy, which doesn't sound, it sounds like something in favor of us, but it really isn't, because it just means he will attach every turn, and he does have some annoying Pokemon like Cubone, like Lapras, like Squirtle. All 3 of those are really annoying. And then Charmander is actually lethal for Diglett, which is really scary. So that's why the deck's kind of annoying. That's the first one. His second one, he still doesn't learn about reducing the amount of energy, but this time he has a lot more difficult Pokemon to deal with. Still 30 energy in the deck. And I'll save the later ones for later, because they are special.
They are...
very special.
The last time you actually fight Ronald, can I just say, it is one of the most absurdly built decks in the history of our game speedrun. Oh, I got him.
Yeah. And so now, anyway, back to matters of real time. We're fighting here Ken, the Fire Club Master, with his notable fire types like Chansey, Tauros, Kangaskhan, Jigglypuff, Wigglytuff. Oh, and I guess Growlithe.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
these.
guess it.
1998 was a different time period.
Alright, so yeah, so basically, and after this, you're actually gonna encounter, we're actually gonna encounter another deck that is very similar to this, in terms of how it's built. A lot of colorless types, not really focusing a whole lot on the actual Pokemon type that you are the leader of, allegedly.
Yeah, allegedly is a very good way of putting it. The club leaders in the trading card game 1, some of them have actually got cohesive type to deck ratio. Such as the grass one is full of Nikki has a pretty much full grass deck. Rick, the poison one, you can forgive Rick for being half psychic, half grass because it's science. So you know what, fair. Ken is inexcusable. Ken is an atrocity. Ken has 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. He has 9 fire Pokemon in the deck, and he has 6, 7, 8, 9, and 9 colorless Pokemon in the deck. He is exactly 50-50, and we see a lot more of the colorless than we do the fire ones because they just tend to be better.
Someone in chat made a fantastic point just now. Ken was mentored by Flint in Sinnoh.
I see. Okay.
That is honestly a that is actually, you know what? That is my new headcanon.
Yeah, that's headcanon for me now. Yep. Now we go on to some more fights we don't see normally, TM. Oh boy.
That's the new I don't want to see. I'm gonna tentatively keep it, but nope, that's gonna be a loss.
What's so debilitating about that Mew specifically?
So that Mew has a Pokemon power which you don't really get to see a whole lot in this entire run. But it is a really, you're doing this again. It is a passive ability, sometimes passive, sometimes active, where it does a number of different things. There's only 2 that you really have to sort of worry about significantly. It's this one, Mr. Mime, which is anything that does more than 20 damage to it automatically is negated to 0. And Mew, which is, and that Mew has something called Neutralizing Shield. What happens here is that Mew automatically negates all damage done to it by evolved Pokemon. So I can't evolve into Ductrio, otherwise I literally cannot do anything. Which is so annoying to have to contend with. Really? Okay.
That's curious. Yeah.
Interesting deck strategy. Stephanie.
Yeah. So you may notice we're using Hitmonchan, a psychic weak Pokemon here, and frankly it's for 2 reasons. Even though it's got weakness, a lot of the psychic types in this game don't hit that hard. Such as Mr. Mime, which needs 2 energy to attack, and it does very little damage on the first go. Then there's a lot more. It's like 10 damage. It's a lot of 10 damage and maybe some 10 damage multipliers. So if you just keep your Hitmonchan healthy, it doesn't actually take that much damage. But the main reason is it does 20 damage, whereas Diglett does the awkward 10 or 30 damage, neither of which is what we want to see, against specifically Mr. Mime. Back when I used to run the game a bit more commonly, we would in fact put Rattatas in for one of the fights, simply because Rattata did 20 damage for 1 energy and resisted Psychic. That was the reason we put Rattata in. And it was for this fight specifically. Murray, who is the mid-game Bane of Banes. He is, as you can see, the Psychic type guy, bringing in the heavy hitters of the Psychic family, such as Snorlax, and Chansey, and Kangaskhan. Again, yeah, Murray, I guess he has Alakazam, Abracadabra Alakazam, and the annoying Mr. Mime, but just like Ken, he's totally 50-50 on his cards, on his Pokemon types. And the problem with all of these, with both Ken, but much more so Murray, is these colorless threats have absurd quantities of HP. Chansey has 120, Snorlax is at 90, and so is Kangaskhan. So Diglett, as much as Diglett can do 60 damage per turn, which is great, and in theory, if you get 4 energy on a Dugtrio, it could do 140, which we're going to do now and just absolutely destroy this Chansey off the face of the planet. If you can't get to Dugtrio and you're stuck on Diglett, you're going to have to do 60 damage twice through an attack where Chansey coin flips to see if it doesn't take damage the next turn, which is just the ultimate combination of we can't do much against it apart from Gust of Wind. That's our only recourse to it. And otherwise we just have to sit through coin flip hell or try and RNG manip for it. It's just a mess. But thankfully, first try Mario without too much complaining is another one of we take those, frankly.
Yeah, a sub 2 minute Murray on 5 prizes. Actually, sub 150 Murray with 5 prizes on first try. That's a phenomenal, in a marathon setting, that's a phenomenal Murray.
We take those
well, because
big
boy,
time.
This could be a really problematic fight if things don't go well. Okay, Lickitung could be a problem, potentially, but we will see. If I get Dugtrio, I mean, it's all over. It's over, ladies and gentlemen, and people who do not identify with either. Okay, Dugtrio. Yeah, no, we win.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah, we win. Yeah, there's literally nothing in Ronald's deck that can stop. That can stop us now. I wish I could just not get paralyzed here, so I can avoid the. Yeah, pick up the. Unfortunately, I was trying to avoid evolving on Electabuzz and what rather evolved into Lickitung, because evolution also clears of any and all special conditions that you have. And please tell me you have a really annoying hand.
Oh my days, we're just getting all the Lickitungs.
Yeah, we're getting all the. Oh my goodness, that is now what 5 straight coin flips landing heads.
Oh boy. Oh boy, yep, this is the Lickitung, this is the paralysis show, because of course Lickitung, that no normal type, also paralyzes because he slaps you with his tongue or something.
Ooh, that's...
What's the attack called? Yeah, Tongue Wrap. Flip a coin if heads, the defending Pokemon is now paralyzed, because we needed more paralysis in Gen 1. Yeah, in the first few sets, there was a lot of flip a coin, get paralyzed attacks around. Nowadays, that sort of effect is very restricted. You very rarely see paralysis in modern Pokemon, often as a punisher mechanic, such as if a Pokemon of yours was knocked out last turn, this attack deals more damage and paralyzes the Pokemon. That's an attack that exists these days. But coin flip paralysis, that's gone. That's long, long gone. For good reason, because it was just very unfun.
Yeah, no, it's... Especially in I've had... Actually, no, I think it was you. We had I think I remember we had a race a few years back. And you had the unfortunate, on the easiest fight of the run, get paralyzed, get stun-locked by Squirtle. What was it, 7 straight turns?
It was something atrocious. I mean, this is coming from the same runner that had to sit through Ninetales' Ninetales attack on Courtney because it was an actual completable fight during a race. My race luck is questionable sometimes. Although, in fairness, I think my weakness as a runner is not resetting soon enough. Because this is the thing with a lot of fights. In a marathon setting, we tend to just take what we can get. But if we're racing, sometimes a lot of the racing or going for PBs, a lot of skill in this game comes down to, should I reset the fight to try and get a faster one? Because before every fight, we save the game, because it takes barely any time, and we can reset at any point using a soft reset and either continue the duel or continue from diary. So, a lot of the skill does come down to, is this fight completable quickly? Or will I save time by resetting and trying to go for a faster fight? And I think one of my weaknesses as a runner is very much staying in too long in fights and having to stick it out because I've already spent 2 minutes in a fight and think, oh my gosh, if just one more thing,
it's so easy to deal to have to fall into the sunk cost fallacy.
It really is a game of the sunk cost fallacy in action. It really is.
Okay, so sidequest, because we're actually on the third leg of this specific opponent. This is one reason why I have made it so you have to fight not just every single opponent NPC in the game, every single unique deck, because Aaron, the side character that we never, and I mean never, get a chance to actually see, actually has 3 distinct decks, and so the all battles rule makes it so that you have to fight all 3 decks as opposed to just picking one. Because why did I make the rules that way? I did not invent the category. The idea of this actually was thrown out before I even started speedrunning, but I'm the one that basically championed this thing into existence, and I made it so that you have to fight all 3 versions of this deck, and believe me, I sometimes question why I did that.
Yep, this is all you to blame, but 100% is 100%, and we're gonna go for it, you know.
Yeah, my whole thing is that I always wanted Pokemon TCG to have a completionist category that wasn't just simply the all cards category where you literally just collect every single card in the game. And let me tell you, that is... oh boy, that is quite the odyssey and a bit of...
all cards
is a nightmare.
Like, all cards is simply just not a fun run at the end of the day. In theory, it's really cool how you like go to side characters to get and do specific tasks to get specific cards, such as one random Slowpoke promo, which the only way you can get it is by giving away all of your reserved energy to this one guy, and he tells you, oh, it's behind a poster. It doesn't spawn until then, and it's just like, that part's cool. The not cool part is having to do trainers on repeat to get specific packs to have a chance at getting the rares, because often you'll be missing one rare, and you can do mail manipulation to try and get some to guarantee some of the rares, but sometimes you're missing that last one and it's taking you 10, 15, 20 minutes to get one rare off of one trainer that's like a poor chance, and it's just miserable, which is why I'm glad that all battles exist for a more completionist category that isn't RNG hell and, well, frankly, more fun.
For sure. Yeah, no, I'm really happy that we have this category. Some people that do run it actually have told me how much fun it is, and it is a really it's interesting because it's still a bit of it. The category is still a bit of in its infancy. Where, oh boy, Joseph. No, this actually no. Joseph is. I have to adjust the deck. Really quickly, it is, yeah, I will explain what this specific portion of the run is in a second, but yeah, the category is still in its infancy, so there is still a lot of experimentation with some of the things, with routing and everything. Like, for example, the world record holder and Welsh RTA and myself, the former world record holder of this, we have 2 almost very distinct routes in this game, and it's still not even proven which route is better. Welsh plays a much more aggressive version of the round, whereas I go basically for more consistent strats. And even though it may not be as aggressive as Welsh, we both have been able to swap the world record back and forth. So, you know, there's still a lot of like really cool stuff to unearth in this category that I think is part of the exciting thing when it comes to this. And yeah, so including the Challenge Cup portion. So the Challenge Cup is a 3-battle tournament where the first 2 battles are completely random. You don't know which Pokemon it is. So you just have to really hope you don't have to edit your deck before this fight, which is Ronald 3 arguably the hardest Ronald fight. Actually, no, I'm gonna say it is the hardest Ronald fight in the entire game.
I think I just looking at the deck list here, I don't think it's close that this is the hardest one. For starters, the first Ronald deck is possibly is the only one in contention. Second one is not that difficult if you get there's nothing super debilitating apart from Lickitung, I guess, and Electabuzz, but you could set up in the face of those, and if you have a Dugtrio, then you just win. The third deck here, with Grimer for paralysis, Magmar that will just knock out all your Diglets. Juden and Graveler are kind of the only freebies in the deck, but then Chansey, which we hate, Kangaskhan, which we hate, Scyther, there's just a lot of things that we really don't like to see. And this deck has everything in it, and including 4 Scythers, which are just very, very deadly. Because he does have 4 double color Senshi in the deck, and he will use them. So this is where we are forced to swap onto Seal Dugong. Seal Dugong we might be seeing later, depending on how our packs open. But Seal Dugong has been, for the longest time, only really used near the end of the game, because there's a few water fights where water is very useful, and Seal being a tankier basic than Diglett actually has some real value. Dugong doesn't hit as hard as Dugtrio, but Dugong hits for 50 and has the same HP as Dugtrio, and in a pinch has a 30 damage paralysis coin flip attack, which I don't think I've ever used, but, it's nice to have the utility in case you need that, 1 extra turn sometimes, So, yeah. But the great thing about TCG, just in general, for all of the categories, is while we know, good Pokemon to use, such as Dugtrio, we know is great. We love Dugtrio, we love Hitmonchan, we love Electabuzz, Dugong. But there's so many alternate strats that are great. A great example is, for grass segments, Scyther is our preferred choice because Scyther has very unique properties, but sometimes you just don't get the Scyther, and you can mail manip for it, or you can go for strats like Nidorino. Some people have been insane enough to do Pinsir. There's a few other things, but there's a lot of flexibility in runs, and a lot of flexibility in routing. The only hard route fix in the run, there's 2 of them. Well, apart from the equivalent of the Elite Four, Murray has to be the 5th or later gym club leader that you fight, because he only appears after you beat 4 other club leaders. And Ken has a quantity of Pokemon cards that you need to own in order to fight him. Thankfully, that's pretty low, but he can't. Generally, he can't be one of the first trainers you fight, even though we could have a decent deck for him.
Rock, how many times?
So the run is really open.
How many times with Murray? Sorry to cut you off, but how many times with Murray have we all thought okay, how about this route? Is this a good route? And we're like, okay, this works. And then we realize, wait, but what about Murray? That's always the question we ask. What about Murray?
Yeah. The reason Murray's so debilitating is because he has unique properties of being an annoying deck that we want to fight with Diglett/Dugtrio. And Diglett/Dugtrio in the early game is a very good combination of cards to use, and Hitmonchan depending if you use the Bulbasaur deck or not, or get lucky. Hitmonchan, Dugtrio.
Oh, never mind.
Golduck? Oh boy. What does Golduck even do? Does he knock out? No, okay, thank goodness.
This is I think this is a loss. If he draws a water energy. If he draws a water energy, we lose.
Praise.
Wow, I was actually going to lose to Imakuni. By the way, this is Imakuni. This is a very special boss fight where, to kind of briefly describe Imakuni's deal, this is essentially Pokemon TCG's Tingle, except this is an actual person. This is an actual person that works with the Pokemon company, and is sort of basically kind of like a mascot of sorts for the for TCG.
Yep, he is a real person that runs around in a real costume, just like that. Yeah, it's a mostly black costume with sort of panda bear ears. Yeah, it's quite special. But he's a beloved character in the community. He even has his own card, which is possibly the worst card in existence, but I guess that's part of the appeal because it's so terrible that it's funny and it's memorable.
And there's
what the card does. What it does is it confuses your own Pokemon. Now, to put it into context, I don't think I've ever seen any Pokemon ever benefit from being confused, especially not in the base Jungle Fossil format. But yeah, it exists, it's lovable, and his deck is, well, for the most part, not very good until he rips a Golduck, but, you know, generally we don't see Golduck.
And not only that, this is actually another really funny thing about this entire thing. The game has it programmed to where the moment Imakuni draws his signature card, he is bound by the laws of the universe to play it automatically no matter the context. He draws it, it calls to him like the Green Goblin mask in Spider-Man 1.
Mm-hmm. Yep. You push the button. You push the Imakuni button automatically, and it's only good for you. The great thing about Imakuni is he's the only trainer in the game to give you 4 booster packs, which does actually make farming him very useful in the all cards category to some extent. But the problem with him is he sort of flirts around from club to club. He has some set spawn locations, and it's not truly random, but I could never remember where he is. It's been a while. I think it's 3 clubs he flits between. But yeah,
I can't remember off the top of my head, but we do have a there's actually a category extension that is literally just Imakuni. It's literally you just fight Imakuni 3 times, and after you beat him the 3rd time, you get his signature card, and that's time. And world record, I think it's like a low 3 minutes. I can't remember off the top of my head. Really, no energy.
Yeah, it's very quick. It's a fun run though.
Yeah, it's really funny. I nearly got world record on my 2nd ever run of that category, just to kind of show how like wacky it is. Literally all you do is just use an Electabuzz deck, and then just hope you never actually get to play Electabuzz, and hope he knocks himself out. I'm getting mad on looking at these draws.
Yeah, yeah. Welsh has got the record at 3 minutes and 15 seconds. Yes. It's a very silly category, but a fun one. I've never done it, but one of these days I will.
It is definitely. It's one of my. I have not. It's been a while since I've done a category, but I do very much enjoy it. Oh, I am hopeful. If I don't get paralyzed, come on. All right, we win. Right? No, we don't. Actually, no. I needed another one.
Or you can paralyze him. Oh, dang.
That's 4 straight coin flips landing tails. I don't feel. Where's my Kadabra? There's 4 of them in the deck. Yeah, no. This run has been going actually relatively well. Okay, this is. Ooh. You know what? Let's go for the. Yeah. Let's go for the Abra Strats. Ooh, that. If I get paralyzed, this actually might be a case where... Actually, no, I have Potion and Defender. So... Unless you actually go blow it up with self-destruct, I should be fine. I should be fine. He's gonna blow himself up.
No, that's fine. That's fine, because you get an energy in the bin for Mewtwo. That's fine.
What should happen to... but the problem, that otter is gonna be a problem. But you know what? That's fine. Whatever. Yeah. Whatever. Either we got a little bit of time to play with either way because I have a this one has actually been going pretty well. We are actually we're like a little over 2/3 of the way done with the run anyway. Oh wait, this run also knocks out the. Okay, this is actually fine. So we're gonna attack next turn and hope that I don't get hit with too much damage. Anyway, I have a potion regardless.
Yeah. So the thing about Mewtwo is, and we've used Mewtwo on and off depending on our moods and which route we're taking. Mewtwo is one of the very few Pokemon in the entire game. I think the only other one I know of is like Blastoise, actually Blastoise, Charizard, and to some extent Venusaur, that can actually ramp you energy. Its first attack says, look in your discard pile. You can attach up to 2 Psychic Energy from there onto the Mewtwo. Now, we can abuse this by hopefully discarding 2 Psychic Energy to Item Finder, Computer Search, or Professor's Research. If you don't know what, or is it Professor Oak in this game? I think it's Professor Oak in this. It's Professor Oak. The original Professor Oak, what would later go on to be Professor's Research, it says discard your hand and draw 7 cards. Back in 1998, this wasn't a once per turn effect. It is nowadays for good reason. But it and Bill is just draw 2 cards, something Pot of Greed. But they were unrestricted by any. There was no restrictions on these things back in 1998. So decks started the game with 4 of both of them in the deck and a few other cards in particular. But those 2 cards were just turbo strong. It's so crazy. Yeah, thanks, Nightblade. I couldn't remember exactly. I've used Charizard a grand total of once, and it was for the race where we all had to finish on using our starter on the final Rumble fight.
Oh man, I remember. What a time that
and
was.
Yeah. And just for context, all the starters in this game are, unfortunately, with the exception of exactly Charmander and Charmeleon, they're all pretty unplayable for going fast. Charmander is an exception, but Charizard is absolutely not fast at all because it demands you its discard 2 energy for its attack that already costs 4 energy. It's just an absurd amount of energy being burned away every turn. Yeah, it's really terrible. Venusaur's just slow because Bulbasaur and Ivysaur aren't notable in any way. They're just a bit weak. Their attacks do basically nothing. And Squirtle and Wartortle are too defensive. While Blastoise is very, very good. And if we had a playset of 4 Squirtle, 4 Blastoise, and I think it's Pokemon Breeder in this game that allows you to evolve up, right?
Yes.
Is it? Yeah. If we had that combination at the start of a run, then potentially Blastoise is playable, because Blastoise's ability, Rain Dance, is actually very good. Allows you to attach as many energy as you want onto your water Pokemon on your turn. Which was wild back in 1998, and some decks were built around that. Because Rain Dance is just that powerful an ability. And it still exists to this day on certain cards. But in different forms. There's stuff like Gardevoir EX, there's Baxcalibur, which I believe is still in rotation, and other things, but they tend to restrict them a bit more these days, except for those 2 exactly, I'm pretty sure. For good reason, ramping in any game, by ramping I mean attaching more than 1 resource per turn, so attaching more than 1 energy per turn is just very, very good. Always has been, always will be. Yeah.
Okay, we've actually been doing mostly things in the from the glitchless route, but now we're back to doing new all battle runs, and this is arguably, outside of Stephanie, my least favorite portion of all battles, if I'm being real, because these next 2 fights are really annoying to have to contend with. Yeah, I'm gonna brief them on that one. That's this is supposedly the Nidoran deck. You saw opening with Doduo and then putting on the bench of Meowth. Explain that to me, everybody.
Yep.
And we're doing that again.
No, this is one of the times where I have to just go and check out the very silly decks of the club members. It was just science. This was just such a different time in life. This is David. Yep, the lovely Nidoran deck. Are you ready, kids? It does have 7 copies of Nidoran, 3 male, 4 female. It also has 2 Grimers, 2 Coughings, a Pinsir, 2 Meowth, 2 Farfetch, and 2 Doduo. So, yeah.
I forgot.
Yeah, you see quite a lot of. Yep, it has 2 Grimer and a Muck, just chilling in there. And this is the thing. Sometimes you just don't see these things, and sometimes you do, and it's very random when you do. They have preferences for using some things. I don't ever know what the absolute preference is. But yeah. Notable about this deck is it's very similar to the TAS of the tool-assisted speedrun of this, because Nidoran Male and Farfetch'd both have a flip a coin, deal 30 damage for 1 energy attack. And turns out, with enough RNG manipulation, this has been that's about the fastest deck you can have. There's no deck that hits harder as cheaply as fast and getting 1 prize wins than a Nidoran Farfetch deck with perfect RNG manip. Obviously, humans can't do this, which is why it's reserved for the TAS, but the TAS is nearly as fast as us going with the dual escape glitch. That says a lot, really. Us skipping fights is is only just faster than the tool-assisted speedrun. That really should put it into perspective how ridiculous that run is.
Let's see. Okay, this is gonna be a really interesting one. By the way, I forgot. We too. I'm not psyching this one. I momentarily forgot. I'm glad I'm doing the chip damage. What do you mean you're evolving? What do you mean you're already evolving, Kakuna? Oh, I think this is the first time. All right, stop me. Heard this one before. I have never seen that. I've never had this happen to me before. Legitimately, I've never had Kakuna as an opponent in this entire run, and that's now 3 straight points in coin flip landing at. Do I have a full heal? If I don't have a full heal, I'm resetting.
Or just cram some more potions down Mewtwo's face and hope it works.
How much?
Yeah, no. This game does tend to hit you. It does sometimes hit you with really random stuff. Like seeing Golduck earlier, don't think I see that very often. Kakuna, I've seen Dodrio turn up randomly. I've seen Fearow turn up somewhat randomly. The thing is, often how these decks are built is they have the golden terrible ratio of 4 to 3 to 2 or 2 to 1 to 1. And what I mean by that is, for example, Charmander. A Charmander line in most of these decks would be something like 4-3-2, 4 Charmanders, 3 Charmeleons, 2 Charizards in these pre-constructed decks. And when it comes to stage 1 evolutions, especially like Ponyta Rapidash, it will have like 2 Ponytas and 1 Rapidash. The chances of them ever seeing that Rapidash are tiny, so you will never see it in runs until that one run where it will totally ruin your day. Mm-hmm. And there's nothing you can do about it.
Can I can I draw a psychic energy for my life here, please? Really? Okay. That's unreal levels of unlucky. Yeah, this is why the David Eric portion is like like I said, among my least favorite parts of the All Battles run. Okay, at least I got psychic energy to burn through, but I betcha. Who's willing to bet that this is that the coin flip now is gonna be heads?
Of course it is. Okay. Yay!
Okay,
so
I know what I'm gonna do.
The thing we can do here is not attack, and the reason for that is because we know our attack is tails. There is a strong chance that their attack will also be tails. This isn't always true because sometimes they can. Anytime the deck is shuffled, searched, or a coin is flipped, RNG advances, or if oh my god, it's back. The terror is back. Welcome our goat Kakuna. Every time the deck is shuffled, searched, coin flipped, coin is flipped, the RNG is advanced, or for some reason Mankey's peak ability, which only looks at the top card of your deck, apparently that advances RNG too because of how stuff happens. Look, we just read the notes, you know, not much more than that. It's nothing more special than that. But that's what we can do to use coin flips to our advantage or disadvantage in some cases, like this one. Pain.
Okay.
Well, at least you've ramped. At least you got 40 damage on. Oh my god, there's our buck behind it.
That's fine.
What?
It has like a really weak move that's actually really not going to be a big deal, and it's weak to Psychic, so I'm not concerned about that at all. This Kakuna, I'm trying to get it out, take it out before it evolves into Beedrill. There we go. Yeah. Poison Fang is not really gonna.
What is?
It's got 2 attacks.
Oh my days, that is a terrible attack. Just for context, let's just put the baseline here. Baseline for a good attack would be, I don't know, Dugong hitting 50 for 3 energy, Dugtrio hitting 40 for 3 energy. For the lovely price of 3 energy, Arbok does 20 damage and poisons you. Poison is very easy to deal with by just retreating out, so it's incredibly unthreatening and a lovely waste of energy that we love to see being put on Pokemon which don't really do anything. Hooray! And now we go on to... Actually, I quite like Mitch. Mitch is one of my, like... Of all the club leaders, I think Mitch is my favorite fight because it is an honest fighting... For starters, it's an honest fighting deck. Hitmonchan, Hitmonlee match up, all really cool. And the thing is, it's actually like a tense fight because everything does actually threaten your Mewtwo with just chip damage over time, because everything does 20 little chips of 20 damage, maybe 40 damage if you're unlucky. Even though you can one-shot everything, Mitch can actually just beat you down very slowly, especially if you only use Mewtwo, because sometimes you just do use Mewtwo instead of trying to do Abracadabra shenanigans. Because Mewtwo is just quicker. He has a better attack. He has an easier to set up attack. You don't need to find Kadabra. Oh my days. Primeape. Rare Primeape sighting, people. Rare Primeape sight. Oh jeez.
I have a potion. Okay, I have a defender.
That's close enough.
That's good. That's good enough.
That's good enough.
I'm in trouble because I think he has another. Oh no, it's a Mankey. Okay, we're good.
A Mankey. Okay, we're
with
fine.
the bill. No. Did he? Yeah, no, I lost. I automatically.
And this is exactly what I mean. It's a tense fight because like there we actually just straight up lost to damage because it just happens. Like Mitch, it's a hard but fun fight. I would describe it as.
It is an all-out brawl, and pun intended for. It is definitely quite a fight. Finally, okay.
Oh, we loved that.
I think this is the first Professor Oak I've had in this entire run. I think this is the
when
first
you've had Mewtwo.
Yeah. This is the optimal strat. We basically just won. Yeah.
Things go very, very well if you get a computer search on Professor Oak on turn 1 with Mewtwo, because you can use its attack for 1 energy to pick up 2 psychic energy from your discard, which can be discarded with those cards, which is great. That's what we want to see. And I mean, even then, 30 HP remaining when most of his Pokemon do 20, it's a little scary. Thankfully, Mitch will generally not attach energy to Mankey, so generally went fine, but you know. And with that, we have one club leader to face, who is hiding off with Ishihara?
Yes, with Ishihara's house. I think
she's just hiding there. Yeah, she's hiding there. She only turns up after you beat her disciples in the Grass Club, which we haven't done yet. But this will be the next section just before we finish off the final club leader. So what deck are you swapping onto now then?
We're actually going to go for a full-on fire deck because this deck, this first fight it's a little annoying doing a fire deck. However, the next 2 fights, they are prime for that Ponyta double colorless energy strat that we were kind of alluding to earlier. And it kind of makes sense. Mewtwo does not work well because he does have a Meowth, which will just absolutely decimate, or it will wall. And Ditto too. And Ditto. It will wall Mewtwo and Kadabra. That is kind of the unfortunate part with this deck. But if all goes well, there kind of is not much he can do because a lot of it is just putting your opponent, like, inflicting a little bit of status, but nothing out of this world.
Yeah. No, I lost my train of thought. Never mind. But the other thing about early Pokemon card design is they were, because they'd put this weakness and resistance system in place, they were very, very heavy-handed with it in the early days, and especially in the TCG. After seeing in the first generation Psychic being the most broken type by miles, because there wasn't really a bug attack that could hurt it, and Ghost was for some reason doing no damage on it when it should have been super effective. That was a known glitch in the first game. So the TCG designer said, okay, Psychic is way too strong. Let's give all normal Pokemon a Psychic resistance, because that makes sense. Psychic Pokemon share a type with Ghost in the TCG. So we're going to say, okay, all Ghost Pokemon are Psychic, so all normals resist Psychic. Problem is, that's not good for us in the speedrun, because it slows down some fight in the same way that Doduo slows down our fighting decks when we really don't want them to. Random Rattatas, Meowths, or equivalent really slow us down, especially the stuff like, what's its face, Kangaskhan, Chansey, Snorlax. They all have resistance. It's all kind of scary, so yeah.
Okay, this is another instance where, like, I could evolve and be out of relative danger, but this is one of those, like, you hold off on doing anything regarding evolution until you literally have no other choice but to do it, just to kind of prolongate using the full heal mechanic that you get from evolving. And thankfully that Haunter was very cooperative and let me wake up at just the right time every single time out.
Yep. Good thing about the thing is, especially this is more so with Ponyta and Rapidash, because when you evolve to Rapidash, you don't deal that much. You deal exactly the same amount of damage for the most part, because agility does 30 for 1 extra energy. So the good thing about agility is you coin flip, and if it's heads, you don't take any damage or effects of damage next turn. Problem is that's a coin flip, which takes time. So we'd rather not, if we can avoid it, use Rapidash. It's just nice to have sometimes, and especially against the club leader, Nikki, who has a lot of Pokemon that inflict a lot of status conditions like Tangela, Execute, and what's its socks? Oddish. All of them inflict either sleep, paralysis. We hate that, and so evolving to Rapidash is often very good, and that's when we don't really mind that we take the coin flip, because sometimes that means we're immune to their status conditioning shenanigans. Normally in a normal playthrough, you would tend to use Charmanders here, and maybe a Ponyta or two, because you have them in the deck. You don't tend to find Rapidashes as much as Toro has found them today. I saw you had 5 of them, which is basically unheard of in a regular speedrun. But because you hit all those extra trainers, which means all those extra packs, you find these rarer cards like Rapidash to use.
Okay, so now on to Nikki. She is the final, for lack of a better word, gym leader, even club master, but you know, it's easier calling them gym leaders, of the run. After this, we technically can try to just tackle the Pokemon Dome, which is essentially this game's version of the Elite Four. However, as you can kind of see, we have not battled every single trainer in the game. There are actually 3 more battles before we tackle this. So we're now entering the end game, and we have to clear all of the entirety of the Fire Club, which it's gonna go either amazingly well, like we're gonna be there in we're gonna be tackling the Elite Four in like 3 to 4 minutes, or it will take us about 7-8 minutes. There's no in between, because this is an absurdly annoying group of trainers who have to contend with. However, the benefit here is some of them do give out potentially great cards, so this is like the final stop in like building a deck before having to do. Ooh, this one day I'm gonna have to read that, aren't I?
So what packs? What packs do these guys? Do they give Coliseum packs for the most part?
I believe 2 of them do.
Yeah. So I'll just quickly explain packs in the game. There are 4 booster packs in the game. The ones which we open the most often and have Bill and Professor Oak and a few other, in fact, a lot of other good cards that we want for the run. All of those are found in Coliseum packs, which is why a lot of speedrun routes will always say, okay, let's do all the Coliseum pack fights first, because that gets us a better deck sooner. And if we don't have to do optional fights, if we don't have optional fights, we don't do them. So these Fire Club guys, even though they're giving Coliseum packs, we just never do them. But it's nice to have this sort of, oh, I'm getting a few final packs which could have something juicy in it. Juiciest hits are always Item Finder, Computer Search, Dugtrio. Those are the big 3 in the rare slot. There's a few other cards in the uncommon slot, like Bill, Professor's Research, Plus Power, I believe Defender's there too, which you don't always see in the blink of an eye that you pass through the pack. Because when a pack turns up, you only see the icon for the rare in the pack, which is the one you care about most of the time, and sometimes if your eyes are quick enough, you see the rest. But yeah, so Coliseum packs are what we want to open. This is an evolution pack, which is Pokemon Traders.
That's really good. That's actually a really good card.
That's one of the few. That's one of the few rares which we actually like. Trader is not a card we see every day. If we could get it in everyone, we'd be happy to run 4. Essentially, what it does is it's a trader. You choose any Pokemon in your hand. Is it discard or shuffle it back in? And pick up. Shuffle back in, and you get to pick any other Pokemon out of the deck. This is great because often what our deck is restricted by is not necessarily our trader cards, but the amount of Dugtrios in the deck. We get 1 guaranteed Dugtrio at the start of the run. In both the Bulbasaur and the Charmander decks. I'm not sure about the Squirtle one. I'm not sure if the
Squirtle does not. The Squirtle does not get a free Dugtrio, unfortunately.
Yeah. And Dugtrio is what we smash 4 out of 5 of the fights in the end game. So the more Dugtrios we get over the course of the run, the better. Sometimes you can, in quotes, count a Dugtrio as a computer search or a Pokemon trader, which is great, unless it gets stuck in prizes, in which case you cry. Quick side note, prizes is a thing. If you don't know,
Beautiful.
In order to win games, you have to take all your prizes generally, or knock out all their Pokemon. Prizes are 6 cards you set from your deck to the side once you've drawn your opening hand and set up, and these will be cards that you take over the course of the game. These 6 prizes can occasionally contain Dugtrio because it's not necessarily in your opening hand. And if you have 1 Dugtrio and it's stuck in prizes, sometimes that's just how the cookie crumbles, and then you just lose the fight without even getting a chance, and you have no idea. There are some options sometimes if you do manage to get a knockout with a Diglett in these fights, and you know the Dugtrio's in prizes, you can reset the game every time you flip a prize to try and get that Dugtrio. And sometimes you will do that, but that takes a colossal amount of time, sadly.
So, the reason why I said beautiful just a second ago is because you may not have noticed, but I got Computer Search, which just absolutely amazing card to have. It is, I cannot stress, that could potentially be the MVP of this endgame. I'm not even joking. The way Computer Search works is you discard 2, add any card in the deck to your hand. Any. I don't think I need to fully explain, card game strategy to explain how good any card in a third trio.
Oh, we love it.
Yeah, no.
And just to put it in perspective, Computer Search in the modern day TCG, I'm not sure if it's banned and expanded, but when it was legal, Computer Search, they had to nerf it somehow because okay, Computer Search is too strong. But Computer Search is not a person, so it's not a supporter. What do we do to it? They made it into an A-Spec card, which means you're only allowed 1 Computer Search in your deck, and you can't choose another A-Spec to replace over it. However, most of the time everyone took Computer Search because it was by far the most busted of the A-Specs. It was the most flexible, it could do anything, it was really, it just did everything. You'd think the cost, like a casual might think discarding 2 cards is a big cost. In Pokemon TCG, it really is not. Especially when there's a lot of things that, especially in modern day Pokemon, where being in the discard pile can be a benefit. Yeah, no, computer search is just too good. And especially in the speedrun, we love ourselves a computer search. That just means 1 more Dugong, 1 more plus power, 1 more Dugtrio, you know, all the good stuff. One thing to note, we haven't talked about plus power a lot because we been yapping about other things, but plus power adding 10 damage to your attacks, you can use as many of them as you want during your turn, and sometimes you will use them. They can come in clutch, especially in the Elite Four of the game, because there will be a lot of legendary birds like Moltres, Zapdos, and Articuno, which all have very awkward HP numbers for us to deal with. Like this Moltres isn't weak to water and has 70 HP when we only do 50. So if we have two plus powers, we could knock this out in one go. This is much more pertinent with the legendary birds, the signature cards of the TCG itself, which all have fighting resistance and all have 100 HP. Dugtrio, through the resistance, hits for 40, so we tend to want to see 2 plus powers if we are forced to go through a legendary bird in the next fights.
Have Gust Wind. I do. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Not a bad Courtney. Not a bad Courtney.
Yep. Could have been worse. Could have been a lot worse. Courtney is the worst fight to reset on, full stop. Not only is it the humiliation for losing to Courtney, with the exception of Ronald, well, actually no, it's not the easiest fight in the Elite Four, but it's one of the more chill ones because you can usually find a way to get through it. You tend to have a lot of Dugongs, you tend to have a lot of Seals. Your deck is decent enough at this point that it's pretty consistent, so you can usually beat Courtney. If you ever lose to Courtney, not only do you have to reboot your save and go talk to her again, the problem is you've got like a, 15-20 second cutscene that you have to go through. It's like, oh, welcome to the Grandmasters. And you just feel so terrible resetting. Whereas the next person, Steve, we don't have any problems with because we save just before talking to him and then it's very, very quick. And fortunately, so far, we haven't seen his legendary Zapdos, which is by far the most busted of the 3 legendary birds, because when it enters play, it deals 30 damage to a random target. This random target is often Diglett, and it ignores weakness and resistance, which Diglett normally has resistance to. It just gets ignored. So, yeah, Peal of Thunder Zapdos, utterly busted card. And in fact, if there's TCG tournament, like Game Boy trading card game battles, like online battles, 4 Zapdos and some amount of scoop ups, it is a deck, because you can just go Peal of Thunder, scoop up, Peal of Thunder, scoop up 4 times in a single turn and do 120 damage. So if your opponent doesn't have more than 1 Pokemon on the field, they just lose instantly. Yeah. Fun gaming. And also, for some reason, because of a missed code, if you add plus power to your active, Peal of Thunder deals more damage.
Yeah, which was a recent discovery, actually, believe it or not. This was a recent discovery where I forgot who it was. I think it was Yataran. We were doing a run, and then all of a sudden was showing us, and we're like, wait, what do you mean Peal of Thunder can actually do more than 30? It was like one of the most unbelievable discoveries we have seen. Because now, we have now seen, okay, Peal of Thunder is now even more broken than what we originally thought.
Yep, it is hysterically broken. So in theory, on turn 1, due to the TCG bug, and I don't know if we do this in the New Game Plus route, but in turn 1, you can just slap 4 plus powers on your Zapdos in the active, put one on the bench, do 70 damage, lift it up, put it down, lift it up, put it down, lift it up, put it down. That does up to, what, 70 times 4? 280 damage on turn 1? Yeah. hilarious stuff.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Love it.
Oh, this is the scarier Articuno.
Okay, I need a massive Heart of the Cards moment. Okay, no.
Oh.
Yeah, we kind of It's risky. I'm gonna keep it, but this is still winnable.
This is tense. Yeah, the problem is this Articuno does a lot of damage and paralyzes, which is not what we want to see. We've got potions to help, which we have to use, and pray that this is not a tail.
If this doesn't,
oh no, not a head.
You have to. Okay, that's one.
Okay,
but
tails.
We're not out of the woods yet. Okay, we're good. Okay, we are good.
Okay, runs alive. Oh my days.
Yeah. Jack is the hardest fight in the game, bar none. This is the hardest fight in the game.
While Steve can cheese you with turn 1 victories, he's an okay fight if you can get into the fight. Jack is just terrifying flat out. One, he has Lapras, which is the single scariest thing for a Diglett to face. Two, he has all sorts of paralysis, which means even your Doug trios aren't safe unless you spike some full heals. And generally, a lot of the time in any percent, you don't have more than one Doug trio in the deck, or maybe if you're very lucky, you have two. In order to get into the situation Toro's in, where you have two Doug trios that can be used, it's very, very unlikely to exist. So, yeah. Yeah, and you've got to deal with Dugong, which hits for 50. You've got to deal with Articuno, original Articuno, is it Fossil Articuno, I believe, which does 30 and can paralyze. I don't think the level 37 promo Articuno does much. I just never see it attack. I think he always attaches to other stuff.
Yeah, it's really not that. It's honestly not that good. Oh, come on, you really do. Oh my god, Scoop Up again.
Yep, they have Scoop Up in the deck, which wastes 2 turns.
Number 2.
And can potentially paralyze. Oh, we love We love Scoop Up. And frankly, as much as we complain about this, still easier than 90% of the second game's fights. Somehow.
Okay, we won. Okay, we just won. Okay.
Okay, thank goodness for that.
We just won.
Okay.
I believe I have a full heal, and I have another Gust of Wind. Okay. This is fine. This is fine.
Gust, yeah, we go. Oh, thank goodness for that.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Okay.
That
was relatively fine.
This fight, even though it's terrifying, is still easier than most of most of the sequels fights. Because in the first game, it was a new TCG. They didn't really know deck building that well. So the decks aren't that optimized or that scary, with the exceptions of like Michael, Amanda, Murray, Steve to some extent, and Jack. Those 5 are like the notable, actually difficult fights. In TCG2, everything is terrifying. Everything is terrifying because you have less booster packs to play with, especially in the speedrun, and they have a lot more energy removals in their decks, which are...
Oh my god.
We got the 2-turn rod?
The 2-turn rod!
Okay, I'll explain why that's amazing quickly, because 2-prize rod is what we want in life, or 2-prize any of the boss fights. We want those because all the boss fights in this game cheat. I know, shocker. The AI is a horrible cheating person. How the bosses cheat is in their opening hand, they are guaranteed 2 basic Pokemon and 2 energy of some sort. Guaranteed that, and then they're also guaranteed 2 more basic energy and 2 more basic Pokemon in their top 6 cards. Now, if they ever shuffle their deck for whatever reason, then this can mess with things. This is especially true on specifically Courtney and Ronald, where if they put and they will always hold their birds in hand because the birds have enters play effects. So a common line against Courtney, so that can come up, and Ronald to some extent, is they only have 1 Pokemon in the active, and they play their Moltres. They shuffle their deck, and then they draw no more basics. Which can lead to some very quick, well, relatively quick fights, depending on what you're using. This is more so against Courtney than Ronald. But unless you shuffle the deck, which the only card in the game to do so is Lass, I believe, and I guess Imposter Oak, but Imposter Oak is just, no, you're not using that. So the only card that can do that is Lass, and it's only relevant on the first turn of the game. So if you do that on turn 1, then you're jumping for joy. But generally that's not happening, because A, Lass is a rare in... It's either laboratory or... whichever one the fossil one is. Mystery, yes. It's either in mystery or laboratory packs. I don't know which one. It's a rare. You never see it. Like, you see it once in a blue moon. And look, you do put it in because it can cheese these fights sometimes. Rarely. But it rarely comes up, but it can cheese it.
But still, it's a very situational moment when that happens. By the way, we are. By the way, for especially for the people that are for the team on the back end, this is the final fight of the duel. I will say when it is time, because after this, there's like about 37-ish seconds afterwards of cutscene of us getting our big old rewards. So just gonna give a heads up. I believe we are in a position to win in the next, within the next 30 seconds or so. Okay.
Yeah. So we're coming to. This is like the first time I've ever seen this deck be really competent. Just for context, by the way, because this deck is quite unique among decks, possibly being one of the worst built decks in the game, full stop. It's a legendary Ronald deck, which includes Kangaskhan's, which, fine, we hate those. Eevees, a full set of Eevees, a full set of Tratinis, one of each of the legendary birds, and 2 of Moltres.
And we won.
No, it's 2 Moltresses.
Yes, two copies of each of the legendary.
No, it's 2 copies of Moltres, 1 Articuno, 1 Zapdos. And you might notice that, oh, that's 3 colors. There's 3 colors of energy. Yeah, he only has fire energy in the deck, so he can never attack with Articuno or Zapdos.
Yeah, no, it's really when I said very early
anyway,
on,
we've got time in a second.
Yeah,
just...
yeah. You're getting to see all the cards that you actually didn't get to see. This is actually a very bizarre end game where we actually didn't get to see hardly any of the legendary cards and time. And just for completion's sake, there, every single opponent highlighted in this tracker. Very, very happy. That was like a pretty solid run. It was a pretty solid run, all things considered. Had some really bizarre things in the minigame, but yes, Ronald, like I said at the start, if you look at Ronald's decks, some of the way he constructs his deck, it literally makes no sense. Makes absolutely zero sense whatsoever.
Some of the worst deck building I've ever seen. For context, 135, that's a very respectable run, given that the world record is 122 and third place is 137. So this is a very, very respectable run. Underestimate, very, very good. Only 10 minutes off your... Like, when we say only 10 minutes off your PB in a marathon run, that's great. We love that. Because when I sit down to say, like, okay, what's my time, what is this time submission I'm going to give to a marathon, I always add 10 to 15 minutes, even to the any percent, because I tend to add 10 minutes, because the variance in this game is enormous, to say the least. Like, even though I have my personal record is like 55 minutes and 49 seconds, so like 56 minutes, I will say, look, give me an hour and 10, because an hour and 10 guarantees I finish the run, because variance can be really, really, really bad. This run was, it was very smooth, apart from, there's like 1 or 2 segments which didn't go great, which was, I think, your science club, like you said, the science club guys were a bit
the science club went pretty awry. Other than that, everything was like near or at EV level. Like, just gonna highlight, this run was actually good. Outside of the science club, this was actually like near PB, which at one point was the world record. So yeah, but this is the thing. It's got to all chain together all the way through, and you can have a lot of variance happen in between. But that's the fun of it. I think the fun of TCG comes down to 3 things.
One is every run is different. You've got to adapt every time. Two is you can get some seriously high roll runs, and you can, even though you're not going fast, when you have like a deck with 2 computer search, 4 Professor Oak, 4 Bill, you feel like a god playing the game. It's so much fun, even though it's actually quite slow to use all of them at the same time. It feels so good to play. And 3, the music. I mean, look.
Music is phenomenal.
Sometimes music is all you need to like keep yourself going in a speedrun, and this is just what they did with the hardware. The hardware they were given was nothing short of a miracle. All the tracks, and I really mean all the tracks, are a bop in some way, shape or form. All of them are great to bop your head to listen along, to hum along to. I've been known to do it on stream. It's just like, yeah, just vibe, pure vibes, a lot of fun. It is, like, I will say, anyone interested, we do have a Discord. We will be glad to help you guys out at any point, but fair warning, there's a lot of RNG, and you will be resetting a fair bit if you want to go really fast.
But it is a very fun game to improve, and it's just an overall vibe. I absolutely love this game. It is,
yeah. If
you put in the effort and the time, you will absolutely for sure see your times improve. And this was my very first speed game that I actually sat down and grind, and I am so happy to still be doing runs of this 3 years into being a quote-unquote full-time speedrunner, and I've been able to meet a lot of wonderful people and make friends along the way. Included. I remember the very first time I showed this game off on GDQ Hotfix. Rog was my commentator, and at the time, and I said it, and then I'll say it again, I don't think I could have asked for someone better than Rog, who is an OG of this game. I guess technically the second generation runner, as you said it. I'm third gen.
Basically, there are 3 eras of the game. There's the strawberry white block era, the runner who held the world record for years and was just totally uncontested, and then suddenly we had GTNTG, AJ, and in the second generation, and that's when I came along. And then third generation is Toro. I think Welsh was Toro, Welsh, Franksy. There's been quite a few in the third generation.
Shout out to Pinecone as well.
Pinecone came along then too. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, no, I'm very much one of the boomers, and I'm not as knowledgeable on All Battles, but I'll know like really random stuff about this game, so never hesitate to poke me in Discord or any of the mods in the Discord, because we are more than happy to help with this very silly old jank. Well, actually, I say janky, but actually it's one of the most robust Game Boy Color games built, full stop. It took us 20 years to find a glitch. 20 years. You know, it's really robust. You won't get bugs. There's like very few known bugs. It's very stable, very solid, and just a lot of fun, and a good length for a speedrun, you know. Hour-ish, hour and a bit-ish for a speedrun is... It's a nice amount of time for a speedrun.
All right, if you all like to, what you see, I do run this game. I do run stuff like Pokemon Omega Ruby, which you will see me on December 23rd for a really, really long Thon 9. I also run the Spiral Reignited Trilogy and the PlayStation 1 Trilogy, and I'm also doing the Reignited Trilogy on December 18th, if I remember correctly. And yeah. And that'll do it for us. Again, thank you so much for a really, really long Thon for not only letting me to do this run, letting me to do 3 runs this month. So I am extremely happy to show it off, to show off more games as the month progresses. And with that, we are, thank you so much, and hope you have a great rest of your day and rest of the marathon.
Take care, everyone.